Vagarta viva sampraktau vagarta pratipattaye jagada pitaro vande parvati parameshwarau vasudeva sutam devam kamsachanuramardanam devaki paramanandam krishnam vande jagadgurum mukam karoti vachalam pangum langayate girim yat kripa tamaham vande paramanandamadhavam dorbiryukta chaturbir spatikamanimayi makshamalam dadhana hastene padmam Sitamapi cha shukam pustakam chaparena bhasa kundendu shankas padikamanini bha samana samana same vagdevateyam nivasatu vasane sarvada suprasanna sada shiva samarambham shankaracharya madhyamam asmadacharya paryantam vande guru paramparam Partaya pradibodhitam bhagavata narayanena swayam vyasena gratitam purana munina madhye mahabharatam advaitamritavarshinim bhagavatim ashtadashadhyayanim ambatvam anusandadami bhagavad gite bhavatveshinim So let me quickly go through these questions and then continue with today's So there are a couple of points here. Atma means soul. We know that soul has no birth or death, but still many use the word Atmahatya. Is it correct? See, the word Atma, not only the word Atma, many words in Sanskrit, unlike in other languages, are used in the context. To give you quickly an example, Uddharet Atmana Atmanam Atmanam Avasadayet Atmaiva Bandhuhu Atmanam Atmaiva Ripuratmanah. Every Atma is different in that. That is the best example to give. So the word Atmahatya, here Atma means killing this body, not the soul. So that is why that confusion is there. Uddharet Atmana Atmanam also, each Atma has a different meaning. You lift yourself with your own self, so that each one of them is different. So like that. That is why this confusion is there. We say that God is Nirvikara. If that is the case, why we are worshipping God in the form of idols? Why so many temples? For everything there is answer in Bhagavad Gita. In chapter 12 there is a fourth shloka. It says, Kleshaha adhikataraha tesham avyakta sakta chetasam avyakta hi gatir dukkam dehavadbihi ajayate. Krishna says, Nirguna Upasana is not easy. See, the moment I say USA, some form of USA must come to your mind. It may be a map, it may be a national flag, or it may be the president of USA. That is how our mind is trained. To say that without objects I will contemplate is like reaching Mount Everest. We are in the base camp. So this Nirvikara is true, but Nirvikara cannot be comprehended with Nirguna Upasana. You have to go through Saguna Upasana. So all these names, temples, forms are all very important. They are important just like you need a base camp. Then camp 1, camp 2, camp 3, camp 10. Then you go to Mount Everest. So like that, this although God is Nirguna Brahman, Saguna Upasana is the only way we can start. So there is nothing wrong in it, and that's the only way we can do. Because Krishna has said, Dehavadbihi Gatihi Dukkam Ajayate. We are all very body-minded people, very worldly people. For us, Nirguna Upasana is not easy. That's what Krishna has said. So there is an answer even in chapter 12 of Bhagavad Gita for this. Of course, there is another question about Sanatana Dharma that will take more time. Because briefing Sanatana Dharma cannot be done in a few minutes, so I will skip that question. Here is another question. Many intellectual people view that caste system and Varna system are negative aspects of Hindu Dharma. Do we have any valid points to negate the same? Or these systems have been followed since the origin of Sanatana Dharma? Or have these evolved as a result of human thinking practices in the subsequent periods? Please clarify, as I have no answer to this question when I read the stories of people who are exploited in the history. It's a very, very important question. I have extensively talked about it. In Bhagavad Gita again, there are two places Varna has been discussed. In chapter 4 he says, Chaturvarnyam maya srishtam gunakarma vibhagashaha tasya kartaram apimam vidya kartaram avyayam. And then in chapter 18, Sloka 41 to 44, he has discussed about Varna. Varna is one of the most wonderful things. If Krishna has said, it cannot be wrong. First of all, we should have that Shraddha. The concept is correct. There is a fault line in the concept which is being exploited by people more so in the last 300 years because it suits for certain other purposes and so on. Varna is the greatest definition of the reality. You have to understand it very clearly. You get 100 people to a place. Just get 100 people to a place and say something has to be accomplished. Just leave the 100 people there. Come after 4 hours and see. 2 people will start giving instructions. 2 people will start thinking how to solve this problem. About half a dozen people will start seeing how do you economize these wastages and all that, and about 80% of us will be ready to work. That is called Varna system. So don't think low or bad when word Shudra is used. It doesn't. These are all things which they have done in the last, there is a fault line which we need to correct. We need to bring the dignity of labor. But wherever you go, there will be Varna system. Without Varna systems, no social system will work. We need people who want to work. I don't want to think because I don't have the capability. I don't want to think. Don't stretch me unnecessarily. I want to give direction. I love to do it. I want to be a Kshatriya. I will take leadership role. This is a very natural thing which is happening in the society. Now the question I understand is how is this idea which is misapplied? So that we need to separately discuss. Varna system exists as long as social beings exist in the world. I am a government employee, so we have class 4 employee, class 3 employee, class 2 employee and class 1 employee. That's how we have to organize. It is not possible otherwise. So, but there are many issues. In fact, I have discussed in great detail elsewhere. Just to tell you, I think this is a very natural thing. But we have understood, we have used it differently, and Varna has nothing to do with your birth certificate. That is what we have brought it today. Varna has nothing to do with the birth certificate. The most shining example I can give you is you go in the month of March. End of March, go to a place called Chennai, Mylapore. 63 Nayanmars will be carried. It's a grand festival for 10 days. Out of 63 Nayanmars, there are no Brahmins as per our birth certificate business. Vast majority of 63 Nayanmars are actually Shudras. We celebrate them as God. You go to any temple in Tamil Nadu, any Shaivite temple you go, you will find 63 Nayanmars. We have raised them to the state of God. 12 Alvars, same. So these are all, we have not understood the issue. The society has always looked at Varna from a different perspective, not from a birth certificate perspective. That is all making which you have done in the last. There is a fault line which we need to correct. I think it will happen. These are all, a little bit of ups and downs which goes through in society. So that's about that question. There is one more question in WhatsApp, which, yes, he asked that question. So let me quickly go over that question, for which partly we have been discussing. We will continue to discuss that today also. The question goes as follows. All along my career, I was emphasizing on target and goal orientation to achieve the desired results. I do fully agree that focus should be on process than results, as said by Lord Krishna. But in corporate world, if you don't emphasize about the need to achieve the desired goals, the efforts put in by staff may get diluted and may fail to achieve desired results. How do we reconcile these two? Sir has asked this question. This is a question all of us are going through. Two things I want to first of all clarify. First thing is, nowhere Krishna has said in Bhagavad Gita, don't set goals. Don't set targets. Nowhere Krishna has said. Nowhere. Please set goals. I think it is very important to set goals and targets. I think we are missing the point. Krishna is not at all saying don't set targets. Krishna is saying don't be so childish that because you set the target it will happen as per target. This is the point he is coming to. I set a target, I put my best foot forward. Results did not come. The question is, what will I do now? He is addressing that part. Karmaneva adhikaraha ma paleshu kadachana. Ma paleshu kadachana does not mean I don't have, I cannot take fruits. It says the locus of control for fruits is not with me. That is the meaning of that word. The locus of control is elsewhere. This is one part of the story. Second part of the story is, I think organizations will put results, target orientation, all that. I think better they do it. They have to do it. Bhagavad Gita is about you, not about organization. Let organization set goals, let it work for goals. The question is, what do you want to do as a person? That is a question being answered by this. So there are two possibilities. People can argue, no sir, if you take all these performance metrics and all that, I will not work. If somebody says, I will not work because there are no performance metrics, there is an issue of addressing the character of the person. My working and not working, if it depends on the performance metric that somebody is weaving, that has nothing to do with the performance metric. It has nothing to do with the organization, it is due with my vyaktitva. I have a problem now. I seem to be a very unevolved creature. That if only you start waving the carrot, I will start working. We have to address that issue. I am talking from an individual perspective. Let the organization set whatever goals it want to set. Let the organization put whatever performance metrics. You do work the way we are trying. Kartavyam iti karyam karaniyam. This situation demands a response which I am entitled, I am endowed, and I am supposed to do. That shows the strength of character. So if somebody says, if you don't put performance metrics, I cannot work, I pity for that person because he has no character. So we have now invest on the character, which is what Krishna is trying to do, Bhagavad Gita. Second, there is another student asked me, about 35 years, the same question he asked me, I gave him another example. He said, sir, all that you are saying is good, sir. I am a team leader. At the end of the day, I have to go after my subordinates. Then I smiled at him and told him, my understanding is as follows. Whether you have become a karma yogi or not, you will continue to do it. You will go. You go after him only. Because that is the job you are supposed to do. You say there is a goal, you are supposed to do it. Why have you not done it? I have to keep asking. That's why I am a manager. But I told him, if you understood that there is performance and all, and I have to be very detached, attached. I told him what will happen to you 10 years after you come and tell me, I told him. What will happen? Today, the work has not happened. I kept asking my subordinate and all that. I get BP. I don't get sleep tonight. I get very tense. I told him, you practice what Gita said, understanding that performance are all there. You will honestly keep asking him the same question. You will shout at him, what is this happening and all that. Nothing will happen to you. You will have peaceful sleep. Chitta Shuddhi will happen. Our behavior will not change. Chitta Shuddhi will happen. Work will not affect us. So therefore, performance metrics, targets, goals, I think organization must keep. We must work for it. But when results go other way, should we jump up and down or should we spoil our mood, spoil our health? That is the question which he is addressing. So I think that would be perhaps the way to possibly look at some of these ideas. Anyway, so we'll move forward. We talked about we introduced the notion of Yajna yesterday and said parasparam bhavayantaha shreyaha param avapsyata. We said that as a very important principle of Yajna. And Sri Krishna says a couple of more things about Yajna, because all these are the building blocks of Karma Yoga at the end of the day. So we will see a few more. Ishtan bhogan hivo deva dasyante yajna bhavitah tair dattana pratayebhyah yo bhunkte stena eva saha. Now, in the next, this sloka and the next sloka, 12 and 13, Sri Krishna says that the concept of yajna, na mama, indraya idam mama, na mama, somaya idam mama. What is the significance of that na mama? The significance is, one of the spirit of yajna is to lead a life in which we share, partake our riches. Partake our riches. That is hallmark of yajna. So for that he uses 2 shlokas to explain that. So he says, Ishtan Bhogan hi o devaha dasyante. All the devas. What deva means? Deva means these natural resources. Please understand, science may usurp any amount of arrogance. But science must understand one thing. Science can only recreate. Science has not created any substance in this world. Name one substance science created. Science recreated. What is available here, you do innovation and create. That's all science can do. Originally creating vastu, originally creating the dhatu, here is done by devas. That is meaning of devas. So what is this saying? The world is endowed with all resources, adequate resources that you need. Mahatma Gandhi said, wants can be, this is need and the want. Needs can be met, wants cannot be met. Needs means basic minimum. Wants means luxury. There is a difference between needs and wants. So that's what this shloka is saying. Ishtan bohan hi o devaha dasyante. This God, when he created, see, to make a small specks like this, people do a PhD, MTech and then all kinds of things, and 5 years, 10 years of R&D, and you create this. If you think you are such an intelligent person to create this grand universe, we don't even know the length of the universe and breadth of the universe, we are measuring in light years. If some person created it, do you think he is such an idiot to make sure that it is, suddenly becomes exhausted or become inefficient or insufficient? No. If you have so much intelligence to create a small little thing about which you fight all your IPR fights and so on, and you created out of what God gave. Every material that has gone into is given by God. There is nothing science created, it recreated. If this is the ego we have, I don't know how much ego I should measure for the other force. So they have done the equation. It's a very complex equation. They have calculated what is required. So Ishtan Bohan hi o devaha dasyante. For whom? Yajna bhavitaha. If you are willing to play the game with the spirit of yajna, I have enough. If you are not willing to play the game with the spirit of yajna, then it is not enough. That is why yajna is a sustainability problem. Yajna addresses the fundamental problems. Today there is so much of climate convention and all that is happening. In the last 30 years, Americans have destroyed 80% of the forest in America. In the last 30 years alone. In fact, if everybody consumes like the American consume, in terms of their lifestyle, there are studies which says we need 7 planets equivalent of natural resources. Not 1. 7 planets we need. And we are all wanting to consume exactly like them. So I went to US in 99, 10 months I was there. In 3 hours I wrote an article and sent to Hindu. They published it the following day. Because in 3 hours I found something unusual in America. What was that? I felt that they are consuming too much of resources. I had this strange feeling. Now how did I get? Wherever I went in the US to anybody's house, in fact first of all when I went, as soon as I came from the airport, I went to there was a Grand Union, in Boston area there is a supermarket called Grand Union. So I went there. First impression I had was 1/3 of the total space was occupied by tissue papers of 2 varieties. So I said, this much of tissue? I didn't know there is so much. I am from a village. To a large extent I have been in a village. The big city and all after I finished my PhD. Before that I haven't seen honestly I haven't seen real big cities. So this too much of paper was a shock to me. I wondered, why do you need so much of papers? I had this doubt. Then I found the answer. In everybody, and I saw people buying, the big consignment was the paper rolls. Big consignment in their trunk. Boot was paper rolls. Then I went to one of my friend's place because I got very curious. Then I found what it was. You pour 1 spoon of oil. There is one wooden pillar in everybody's house. And the wooden pillar, there is one roll. So you pour a little bit of oil, tire it. Then you put a little bit of tamarind, your hand is a little dirty, tire it again. Tow it. So we are now imitating it. We are trying to do that. So Krishna says, I cannot give you that kind of resources. That's not possible. So that's what he says. Ishtan bohani o devaha dasyante, for those who have the spirit of yajna, which means live and let live. That is a charm of yajna. Live and let live is what yajna is all about. Taihi means by that gods. Taihi dattan, all that given by that God, which means these beautiful natural resources which we are endowed with, the mineral wealth, the water, the oil, whatever you may call it. Taihi dattan apradayebhyah. People who don't want to give to others. I want to consume, but I want to keep it to myself. That's what he is saying. Taihi dattan apradayebhyah. Those people who does not believe in this culture of sharing. And who are they? He says, these people bhungte, they eat. Okay? Yo bhungte apradayebhyah. They consume without giving to others. They are all who? Stena eva. They are thief. They are like thief. And what are they stealing? They are stealing sustainability from this world. You know what is the first sustainability they steal? Social sustainability. If we don't give, this was our Sanatana Dharma. I will talk about it in great detail. Our culture is greatly characterized by the spirit of giving. Greatly characterized by spirit of giving. And Krishna says, if you don't give on it, it's a nitya karma. I will talk about it. There's a nitya karma. If you don't give it, he says you are a thief. Such people are thieves because they are stealing the future. They are stealing the future society. They are creating social unsustainability. It's not, sustainability is not just environment alone. So far, Parasparam Bhaveha I was telling. It is also social unsustainability. I think it is important we take care of have-nots. The society which forgot the have-nots, society of haves which forgot the have-nots will sooner or later find a civil war. It's simple. Because it is simply not possible. It is a very short-sighted idea that I don't care what's happening, I'll enjoy myself, will not work. We need to only sit down and think a little bit rationally. It's a matter of time. Maybe 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, it will go. So he says such people are thieves who don't understand that you exist. This is one type of Paraspara Bhava. This is an element of Paraspara Bhava. Then he continues the same idea with another shloka. Yajna sishtashinas santaha muchyante sarva kilbishaihi Bunjate te tvagam papaha ye pachantyatma karanat. So he says, Yajna sishta ashinaha. Sishta means avasishta, left out. Avasishta means left out. Ashna is to eat. Ashinaha are those who are eating. In other words, what it means, you do yajna and after yajna you consume what you have. So there is this question, is live stream on? Live stream is on, not on today because there is a problem. Domain name server something is coming. I am not able to connect to the internet. So unfortunately those who wanted to see through live stream cannot see. So yajna sishta ashinaha. Those who partake there whatever they have, which the devas have given. Those who partake whatever devas have given them adequately, they partake after doing yajna. Avasishta, yajna sishta. Whatever is remaining after yajna. So the right of the first right is for the yajna. That's what it is saying. Yajna Sishta Ashinaha, they are santas. They are the santas. Real sants are those who understand that life is one of yajna. So do yajna, whatever that yajna is, then consume what you have, the riches that you have. They are real sons. And he says, Muchyante, such people will be liberated from what? Sarva kilbishaihi, all dirt, all bad things. This thought will become very clear. It will become, mind will become like a spatika. There is no regret, there is no guilt, there is no feeling of have I done something to others. You can take your hands off peacefully. That's what he says. Muchyante sarva kilbishaihi. They will be redeemed of all their, limitations, constraints, feelings of guilt, feelings of all that will go because I have done my part. I feel light now. I have done my part, I feel light. I think it is very important we should have that feeling. On a day-to-day basis, we should have that feeling. Which is not once in a while I feel I am happy. I think nothing like saying every day I feel light. There is no feeling of heaviness, of some guilt or some sort of that feeling that I have not done something which I ought to have done. That must go. That should be a living style. So he says such people are santas. They will be redeemed of all their these dirts in their mind. Okay. On the other hand, the second line says the counterpart. Second line says bunjate. Those who eat. Bunjate, eat meaning enjoying, consuming the resources, partaking what we have. That is the meaning of eating. Is a very figurative kind of usage here. It is not literally eating. It is consuming the riches that we have acquired. Bunjate te. Such people will eat. And who are they? They are, papaha. They eat their own sin. Okay? They eat their own sin. Why? Because pachanti atma karanat. It is in sandhi. Pachanti atma karanat. Pachanti plus atma karanat becomes pachanti atma karanat. Pachanti. Those who cook for themselves cook only sin. That's what Krishna says. Those who cook for themselves cook their own sin. That's all. Simply he says like that. If you don't understand that the charm of the society lies in our ability to say, I am able to do this, I will do it for the society and go. We should be able to have that feeling. There is no economic status here required. At every economic status, what we can do, it's a very relative term. He never put a limit, 10,000 rupees per day, 500 rupees per day, nothing like that. What is he saying? All of us must feel good. So I must give you an episode which happened, because these are all our Samskriti. One of my friends was sitting in Ambala station, waiting for the train. He came a little early. So he waited there for about 2 hours nearly, 11:30 to 1:30 or something like that. There was one beggar. Typically you find quite a few of these people begging on the railway platform and so on. So this person was begging. So my friend was narrating this to me. He gave 1 rupee to this beggar. This happened at 11:30 or 11:45. At about 1:30, this beggar has a few coins, a certain number of coins. There is a vegetarian light refreshment room in the Ambala platform. So he goes and buys food. One food packet. My friend told, when he had the food in his hand, he was not a beggar. He looked around, he offered him food. From the person he got alms, he is offering food. That is his culture. That is the Sanskrit. That is called, so there are no limits. There are no limits. You should give 100 rupees, 1000 rupees. Nothing was said like that. It's that beggar, he said, I was stunned. He said, I was stunned and I am happy. I am happy because I see this is our Bharatiya Samskriti. He might have been a beggar as a profession, but when he has food, he said, he looked around, he found me sitting here. He said, sir, would you like to have a little? That is what Krishna is saying. That is what we should understand by this shloka. That is the purity of our Sanatana Samskriti. It may be something, I may be, having something, give a little bit to some whom you can give. It can be, the danam can be anything. It can be shramadhanam. That's why in villages, you have stones. In many of the villages you will find, if not anything, if an ancestor something happened, they will put a stone. Do you know why? Because a person who is carrying a heavy load, if he can offload it for 10 minutes, you have given him a relief. So villages, I find they put stones. In a festival, I think the best of Sanskriti we should see in villages. I mean, I have all my regard for the city living, don't think otherwise. Because ಒಂದು Rathotsava, ಒಂದು car festival, I remember as a child, these pictures are running in my front all the time because I still revel only in those days of my life. I find the whole village, there is one person who gives only, neermor, buttermilk, which will look more or less like water, but it doesn't matter. To her strength, he contributes, because summertime our Rathotsava happens. So people give buttermilk. Some person's buttermilk is a little thicker, somebody's buttermilk is a little thinner. That doesn't matter. That's not the idea here. Some people give water. And when we pull the chariot, there are people who bring buckets of water and pour on us, because we are tired. It's very hot. In Tamil Nadu it is hottest. So in Andhra also, anyway. So hottest. So this is in the hottest region. So there are people who their job is simple. They bring one small bucket of water, a small tumbler. As we are pulling the chariot, they throw water on our face. Nobody felt it was a disturbance.
Put it on the feet also.
Put it on the feet also, exactly. That is our culture. That is what he is talking about. That is a sustainable society. And that is a day-to-day living. This should not be done. I mean, we should rise to an occasion. We are rising to the occasion so well now. I am finding, even the current thing I am seeing, I am not at all finding fault with that. But our ancestors have wired this into our living. Chitta Shuddhi will happen only when such a thing happens. Not when you do it once when something happens. You should breathe through this idea day in and day out. So this has been greatly emphasized in our literature. So I will take a few Upanishads and then show how this is being emphasized. Taittiriya Upanishad has 3 chapters: Sikshavalli, Brahmanandavalli and Bhriguvalli. Sikshavalli is chapter 1, which is a convocation address. Beautiful. Everything that we must understand about how to live today, it's available in Sikshavalli. People can, brand all these as old material, not useful, and all. They have not read. Okay? So, the Sikshavalli is a convocation address. The teacher, before passing out for the students, give a lot of ideas. Wonderful ideas are there. Look at here. Shraddhaya deyam, ashraddhaya adeyam, shriya deyam, kriya deyam, bhiya deyam, samvida deyam, atayatite vichya vichikitsava, vritta vichikitsava syat. Like that it goes on. The mantra. So, the teacher says, Shraddhaya deyam, give with Shraddha. And look at the power of communication. He has put the negative also. Ashraddhaya adeyam. If you don't tell that sentence, there is a possibility you may give with ashraddha. This is called communication excellence. First sentence says give with reverence, with shraddha. Second sentence says don't give without reference, which precludes the possibility of an occasion when we will give without shraddha. That should never be done. So it is explicitly told. Ashraddhaya adeyam. The S is the adeyam. In Sandhi the A goes. So when we utter it, we will say Shraddhaya deyam, Ashraddhaya deyam. The A is understood. It is implicit. Then he says Shriya deyam. Shri means Lakshmi. Give bountifully. Again, what is bountiful? That person for whom the buttermilk looks more or less water is bountiful for him. For other person, the buttermilk is thick, is bountiful for him. Bountiful is not measured by absolute terms. Bountiful is in the mind. Your conscience must say you have given bountifully. What it means is a function of what you can. Our society said 1,000 flowers must blossom. Nobody should be put down. That says no specs will be there. You will find no specification in any of the mantras. Absolutely no specification. Very rarely only there are specifications. Otherwise there are general principles. Because people must do what they can. Don't put an entry fee and then get everybody out of it. That we can't do. You say 300 rupees, then people who can't pay 300 rupees cannot come. You need a dharma darshan also. So like that. So no specs will be there. Shriya deyam. Give bountifully, which means your heart to your heart's fulfillment you should give. Then he says, Hriya Deyam. Hri means Sankocha. And what is the Sankocha? Am I offending the receiver? That subtlety you should have. You should not throw like this. You should have subtlety. Vivekananda said, Daridra Narayana. Vivekananda says, when a poor comes, when you can give, kneel down, offer pranams to him and give him, because you tell, oh God, you gave me an opportunity to help somebody. You gave me an opportunity to put smile on somebody's face. That must be the perspective of giving. That's why Hriya Deyam. Hri means, Solpa Sankocha. Means I should make sure I am not hurting him or her by some act. However genuine I am, I should not, my body language or other thing should not hurt. Think about it. That's what he says. Then Biya. Have fear. Have you not given an inappropriate thing? The other is hurting the sentiment. Hriya. Biya is, have you done something inappropriate? Did you give something wrong? Did you not follow the process properly so that giving was not correct? Think about that also. That is what is called Biya Deyam. Have that fear. Fear that it was wrongly done. From a process perspective, from an appropriateness perspective, he says that. Samvida Deyam. Give with a lot of grace. Maybe with a smiling face. Give with a lot of grace and friendliness. That is, so giving is emphasized in this Shikshavalli alone I am going to use today. Nothing else. Again and again he talks about it. Then I put another mantra, this is Mahanarayana Upanishad. Last but one mantra, Prajapati and Aruni, there is a conversation. He says, what is ultimate? Father, the son asks the father, what is ultimate? So, Satyam, Dhamma, Shama, like that. In that, Yajnam also comes. He says, Yajne sarvam pratishtitam tasmaat Yajnam paramam vadanti. He goes on and on and on, builds the argument. In between, this also comes. I just pulled only that. He says, ultimate is Yajna. Please do Yajna. Understand that is the ultimate thing for your self-evolution. Krishna is going to say that in the next two shlokas also. So that's what comes in Mahanarayana Upanishad. That mantra says, Yajne sarvam pratishtitam tasmat yajnam paramam vadanti. That is, people tell that is ultimate. See, we had put this as a practice of life. There are 5 types of yajna, which is Nitya Karya, Nitya Karma. 5 types of yajna, Pancha Maha Yajnas. This is a Nitya Karma for us. And what are those? The Taittiriya Upanishad, in the same text it is there, I have written it below. The teacher says, Swadhyaya Anma Pramadaha Satyanna Pramaditavyam Dharmanna Pramaditavyam Kushalanna Pramaditavyam Bhutyaina Pramaditavyam Swadhyaya Pravachanabhyamna Pramaditavyam Deva Pitrikaryabhyamna Pramaditavyam Matrudevo Bhava Pitrudevo Bhava Atiti Devo Bhava Acharya Devo Bhava. They are following this mantra. Those famous mantras are part after this. So here he says, the teacher says, what are you supposed to do when you pass out? You are getting into the field of action. You have been a brahmachari so far. Now you get into the world of working. You are going to make money and then create your own riches. So what should you do? So is Pancha Maha Yajnas. First is called Brahma Yajna. It's called Swadhyaya Pravachanechana Pramaditavyam. That's what he says. Swadhyaya and Pravachana. Swadhyaya and Pravachana. Idea is very simple. Just think about it. I don't want to get into too much detail into it. Just understand one sentence I want to say. That society which says, I will learn all the knowledge, I will not pass it on to my next generation. That society will be condemned. Indian society is like that today. None of the parents are bothered about what happens to their children. They say, let anything happen to them, I will not even go near them. But I want to know everything. That's why our Rishi says Swadhyaya and Pravachana. It's a selfish behavior of the highest order. I want to know everything. I will not pass down the generation. How selfish we can be. We should never do that. I think we should learn good things. We have a parental responsibility, we have a societal responsibility to pass this on. That is one nitya karma. That's why it is called Brahma Yajna. Swadhyaya, study and dissemination. Swadhyaya. When you do Swadhyaya, Pravachana will also happen. We must do. Whatever we know, we must share. See, I went to a guru, my guru said simply, I went to one of the gurus and he told me, Mahadevan, you don't give me anything. You make 5 people like you, that is the only Guru Dakshina I want. Don't give me anything. That is the spirit of Brahma Yajna. We should not be selfish that I will know everything, I don't care what happens to my children. Somehow we have gotten into that kind of, out of ignorance. None of us do it intentionally. I am not trying to say like that. I am saying we are not thinking about it. Don't let a society stand on a sheet of water. That's what we are getting to us. This is the only society in the world which says, I want to forget my ancestors. In the name of religion, in the name of all these Varnashrama Dharma arguments and all that, they say, here is a gold mine, I just want to throw it. I don't want to remember. Strange behavior in Indian society. There is a gold mine sitting. This literature is blinds neutral on people, demography, sex, varna, ashrama, religion. Wonderful piece of literature. Nobody wants to look at it. But they want to get the benefit and just keep quiet about it. So that is called Brahma Yajna. Second is Deva Yajna. Devan bhavayata anena te devan bhavayantu. So what is Deva Yajna? Show reverence to natural forces. Don't abuse nature. Today we are abusing nature, knowingly, unknowingly. Show reverence to nature. Without that we will not be there. In one split second it will decide that I will finish you off. 100 years we have not seen that flood in Chennai. None of the science can explain what is happening. The Devas are furious. Why they are furious? Because we have not done Deva Yajna. Which means show reverence to nature. Believe in parasparam bhavayantaha shreyaha paramavapseta. It can be done by worship of God. Deva as worship of God, make their offerings. And Naranarayana, Deva can see anywhere. We need to have that broad lens of understanding Deva Yajna. That's the second. Pitri Yajna, offerings to parents and ancestors. I would not stop there. I mean, this is very strange. Till the parents are here, get the hell out of them and then you want to make an offering. Please don't do that. Do it when they are here. Let us not send our parents to old age homes. I had 2 very contrasting experiences because education has really, spoiled us so much. I want to give 2 experiences. In a matter of 30 days, I met 2 people. One person was, I went to Konark. One holiday we went for Bhubaneswar, Konark, Puri. There was one driver who was with us for 3 days. He was speaking Marathi, I was speaking English, but both of us understood anyway. He was speaking Oriya. I was speaking English, both understood each other. That's the charm of this country anyway. So I asked him, why did you? He said, sir, I was working in Delhi, good job. I left it and came. Good job, I left it and came. I am now a taxi driver. Not a stroke of unhappiness in his face when he said it. I asked, why did you leave? I want to take care of my parents, sir. So I did a little trade-off, but that's okay, no regrets. Exactly 30 days later, I saw a professor who I know him well. I asked him, why are you coming too often? I saw you 3 times. He is a big professor in a big university. He is a chair professor. Then I asked him, why did you come? Mahadevan, 95-year-old, my mother is alone in Chennai. That's why I thought I will come once in 2 months and see her. This is what education has done to us. Education has sucked the moral out of us, has given us a lot of materialism. Please read this literature and bring back a little morality. To me, that is Pitru Yajna. I cannot claim anything worth the salt of me because I remember every day how my parents have suffered. That runs like a movie in front of my eye every moment. Some of the very tough situations that we have gone through, sometimes when I say, I get a little emotional, but I think every one of us have our own experience. Why are you want to forgetting it? Why do you want to forget it? That's called Pitru Yajna. This is our Nitya Karma. Then it says Manushya Yajna. Who said that we have no habit of taking care of the society? In my village, I remember, all these Varnashrama you have to throw it because they are not true. Village you should go and see. In my village, we had this practice. I've not checked now. There are 40 tickets, numbered tickets 1 to 40. There are about 140 houses in our street. In each one of our houses, we will give only this much of rice every day. With that 140 handfuls of rice, 40 people can be fed every day. So we have a numbered token 1 to 40. There is a Dharmakarta in our street. Everybody knows there are 40 numbered tokens. Anybody can take the token. There is a common chowl tree. Up to 40 tokens we will serve the food. So it's a very, whatever we can we are doing. So social net is still strong in the villages. We have so much love for cities and we have come. The social net is very strong in villages because Manushya Yajna really happens in villages even today. We have to take care of our have-nots. Nitya Karma. Then talks about Bhuta Yajna. Bhuta Yajna is Bhuta is a living creature. That is why we have a practice after we cook, we take a little bit of rice and put it on the window. It may be a pigeon, a crow, or maybe a squirrel or whatever. In my house there is a bandicoot. Because night we don't store anything overnight. We don't believe in it. Because if something is excess, signal to us is it is more Bhuta Yajna than what we can do. That's how we have understood life. We don't put it in the fridge. Nothing can get into our fridge. Now there is one bandicoot which is so much used. Nowadays it is walking. It is not able to run. We have fed it so much, I think. It is just aram se walking and coming and going. But anyway, Bhuta Yajna. It includes all seen, unseen creatures. Please think 1 million times before you cut a tree, however small a tree is. 1 million invisible creatures thrive on a tree. Just because you are not able to see, don't come to a conclusion you are destroying living creatures. Think million times before you. In our Vedic practices, you cannot chop a tree. And there are a very elaborate procedure to chop a tree. And if you chop a tree, there is an elaborate procedure to plant before you chop the tree. Are you telling our ancestors didn't understand sustainability? They understood much better. But we don't know any of that. So that is called Bhuta Yajna. So this is a Niyatam Kuru Karmatvam Karmo Jayo Hi Akarmakaha. I talked the Sloka. This is one of the Niyatam Karma. Pancha Maha Yajnas is our Samskriti. That is the way we actually live. That is the way we do things. We must practice it. So daily. This is what Krishna is saying. Ishtan bohan hive devaha dasyante. That's what he said. That is enough. If you can understand the broader picture from which this is the spirit of Yajna. This is the life with Yajna. And if you live life with Yajna like this, the sense of entitlement will come down. I will not starve, but my sense of entitlement will be cut to size. That is the very spirit of all these ideas. So today this is our understanding of sustainability, modern literature. There is a business growth aspiration. There is a natural system constraints because suddenly tsunami comes, climate happens, something flood comes. Then there is a social system demands. Because there is a social system, people also want, right? So if today people think sustainability is A intersection B intersection C, the small little portion in between. That is why our sustainability initiatives are not growing. Sustainable initiatives are not growing because we are looking at the intersection of three. This is how people have understood sustainability. Sustainability means that which satisfies business growth aspiration, which satisfies natural system constraints, which also satisfies social system demands. That is actually a very small place. Our ancestors, Panchamaha Yajna, if I have to put a diagram, or the spirit of Yajna and all that, it will look like this. This is true sustainability our ancestors have understood. They have said first natural system constraints are very, very important. Devan bhavayata anena te devan bhavayantuvaha parasparam bhavayantaha shreyaha param avapsita. First constraint is do nothing to vitiate the nature. Vitiate the natural systems. You will be proven wrong. Too costly. If you can take care of it, then do the next Panchamaha Yajnas. Take care of social sustainability. And within that, if something which doesn't violate these two, do a business growth expansion. This is our, they are actually suggesting a sustainability which looks like this. Whereas today's modern argument, sustainability is here. That's what they are trying to do. Whereas our shlokas or yajna are actually pointing at sustainability like this. Then he moves on to show that yajna is the center of the world of creation. You cannot escape. That's why Purovacha Prajapatihi. Saha yajna praja srishtva Purovacha Prajapatihi. Yajna is the centerpiece of existence in the world. He takes 2-3 shlokas to explain it. Annad bhavanti bhutani parjanyat anna sambhavah yajnat bhavati parjanyah yajna karma samudbhavah. He says, let me now tell you how this world of creation works. He says, Annad bhavanti bhutani. There is no rocket science. If you don't have food, there is no vitality, no reproduction possible. This progeny, this reproduction of human beings, all jivarashis, not just human beings, requires food. Without food, where is reproduction? Not possible. You can't take vitamin tablet forever. Vitamin tablet are also coming from Vanna Oshadayaha eva. See, these arguments are all, they are not understood. You need food. That's why in Taittiriya Upanishad, Brahmananda Valli, he says, Tasmaat Annau, Aushadam Uchyate, that's all that is there. Annaat Bhutani Jayante Jatan Anyena Vardante. Beautifully explains in Taittiriya Upanishad. Without food, nothing here. First understand Annamaya Kosha. That is described in Taittiriya Upanishad, Brahmananda Valli. So that's what is coming here. Annad Bhavanti Bhutani. Then where is food coming from? Parjanyat Anna Sambhavaha. Without rain, there is no food possible. Think of a situation, 20 years continuously monsoon failed. People will perish. There are Puranic stories also for that. We don't need Puranic story, we know science. If there is no rain for 20 continuous years, there is no water. If there is no water, we will have to perish. Half the reason we will perish, we will fight with one another and perish. The remaining half will perish slowly because there is nothing more. That's why he says, Parjanyat Anna Sambhavaha. Then Krishna says, where is rain coming from? No, understand rain not as rain. They are all sukshma. Don't understand any of the shlokas on English translation. That's why we should read none of these on our own. Somebody must teach us. Because rain here does not mean rain. The rain is a tag. Rain is indicative of the natural resources. But surprisingly, what I find is, ancient ancestors had, today in modern business, they talk about key performance index, KPI. They say KPI, key performance index. Do you know what was the key performance index for ancestors? Rain. If rain happens properly, so many things are in equilibrium. No wonder only a supercomputer can predict rain today, because there are 10,000 differential equations running to find out whether rain or not. That is a science explanation for what I said. Rain is a single indicator of lots of things happening in the society. Equilibrium, forces, heat, temperature, sustainability, you name anything, everything can be measured through rain. Optimum rain, not this over rain. Okay? That is, he says, so when he say Parjanyat Anna Sambhavaha, that means that prosperity and all that natural things will only give you food for everything, and that comes through the spirit of Yajna. Just now we argued how Yajna plays that very important role in creating this sustainability. That's why it says Yajnat Bhavanti Parjanyah. So it is not literally the rain, although people measured and they found literally it was raining in that Aptaryama Soma Yajna. It didn't mean that alone. Rain is a proxy to say these larger natural forces which we called as Indra, Agni, Varuna, Vayu, Soma and all that, they will all be in peace. Dyav Shantihi, Antariksham Shantihi, Bhu Shantihi, Shantireva Shantihi, all that will happen. And that happens only when you practice Yajna. That's why it says Yajnat Bhavati Parjanya. I'm going to use rain and all that because that's the English translation that you can do. I cannot write this whole story there. Because this is what you will find in books also. Because Parjanya is, it's a Deva. Parjanya is a Deva, actually speaking. Yajna karma samudbhava. The quality of the work that you do is called Yajna. We have been talking only about that. Tadartam tasma. That's why in the 9th shloka he said, Yajnartat karma lokananyatra karma bandhanaha. Tadartam karma kaunteya mukta sangha samachara. Change your behavior, your attitude to work. In there lies the spirit of Yajna. If you are able to honor the spirit of Yajna, prosperity will be there. If prosperity is there, you will flourish as a society. All those are coming through this shloka. Again, Taitra Upanishad said the same thing. Tasmadva ye tasmad atmana akasha sambhutah akashad vayuhu vayor agnihi agnerapah adbhyah prithvi prithivya oshadayah oshadibhyonnam annat purushah savayesha purushavida eva tasya purushavidatam. All that will come. So it has traced from that tasmatva, from that only you got this etasmad atmanaha. All these sakala jiva rashi and whatever manifesting that you are seeing came from there. How did it come? It started with, it created something called space. NASA does exactly this. When NASA goes to Venus, when it goes to Mercury, or anyway, it cannot go to Mercury, this side only a little bit they can go. Let's say Venus or Jupiter. This is the order in which they check. First they check the outer space. How is the outer space? That is the first research done. And then they check what kind of gases are there. First of all they check whether outer space exists or not. Then they check what kind of gases are there. Because only if oxygen, carbon dioxide is there, Agni will come. The third. If only Agni is there, water will come. What is water? Water is evaporation condensation cycle. It's a recycling mechanism, grand recycling of God. Rain, this water is the grandest recycling idea ever known to mankind, because there is 79% water which are carried away and then brought back. So without Agni, water is not possible. You cannot recycle. So this is the order in which NASA also checks. And if that is there, then the earth will become productive. Prithvi will become productive. From that only Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha came. Shabda came only if you have ether, space. Sparsha comes only when you feel the air first. The first expression of Sparsha is gentle air. That is Sparsha. Then first Rupa is flame. Flame is the first embodiment of shape that you can ever think of. Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa. Rasa is liquid. Liquid is the first embodiment of any liquid system, is the first embodiment of taste. Rasa. And Gandha. Smell comes only when you have some solid. The odor is only from a solid particle. Particle. I have to use science properly. Particle. Smell will not come from wave. Smell will come only from particle. Particle is material. Matter. That is what Taitra Upanishad is saying. Akashad vayuhu vayoragnihi agnerapa. This is what Anna up to that. Then what it says? Only if you have water, you will have Oshadayaha, plant kingdom. Only when you have Oshadayaha, you have Annam. Same idea is coming in Taitra Upanishad. Oshadibhyonnam annat purushaha. This Sakala Jiva Rashi will come only out of food. So that's what it is saying in this mantra. Then he continues. He stopped with the karma. Karma is the one which will have a spirit of yajna. Yajna will give you rain. Rain will give you food. Food will make you flourish. Now, where is this karma coming from? The karma is coming from the Vedic lore. 80% of Vedic wisdom is karma kanda. That's why he says, Karma brahmodbhavam vidhi brahmakshara samudbhavam tasmat sarvagatam brahma nityam yajne pratishtitam. He says, how do I do the right karma? You contemplate on Bhagavad Gita, and Bhagavad Gita is drawing only from the Vedic lore. So Bhagavad Gita is now laying its hand on the Vedic lore. So he says, karma brahmodbhavam. Here Brahma means not the Brahman, not the manifested Brahman, not the unmanifested Brahman. It's not the Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva, not the Brahman which is Nirguna. It is not that. Here Brahma means Veda. People have understood why it is called Veda, and they have explained it. Because Brahmat Akshara Samudbhavam, it has come from an indestructible. So when it has come from an indestructible, then this cannot be that. It is a byproduct of that. The Veda originated from the Brahman. That's why it is called, in this context, it is called Veda. So the right karma is laid out in our Veda. Adi Shankaracharya wrote a beautiful Bhashya for Bhagavad Gita. In the first line, he wrote a 15-sentence preamble, wonderful preamble. Why am I writing a Bhashya? So in the first line he said, Dvividokto Vedo Dharmaha Pravritti Lakshano Nivritti Lakshanascha Jagataha Sthiti Karanam Praninam Sakshat Abhyudaya Nishayasa Hetuhu. Beautiful sentence. He says in Veda there are two types of dharma specified. One is called Pravritti Lakshana, another is called Nivritti Lakshana. Pravritti Lakshana is world of action. Industrious, being industrious. Society needs people, society needs work. Our Vedic wisdom never said run away and hide in the forest. Never said that. Go through the ashrama. Be a brahmacharya, be a grahastha ashrama, then think about vanaprastha. So pravritti lakshana and nivritti lakshana, that is contemplation about the inner world, not about the outside world. It's about the inner world. Nivritti lakshana. So that is the pravritti lakshana will tell us all the principles of yajna. These are all laid in Veda. So Shankaracharya says, Tasmat Sarvagatam Brahma. Everything is contained in that Veda. Tasmat Sarvagatam Brahma Nityam Yajne Pratishtitam. So that is indeed the manifestation of this entire Vedic knowledge is through the yajna that I do. Yajna as a way of life, not only the offerings. Offerings is one part which is symbolic, which is important, but through that understand the sukshma. So this whole world of existence, sustainability and flourishing is now centered on yajna. So that is what he is saying here in this shloka. Then he concludes, so the last 3-4 shlokas are, so therefore understand, this spirit of yajna makes you a karma yogi, and understand this grand principle of yajna. So then he concludes with a few shlokas. Evam pravartitam chakram nanuvartayati hayah aghayurindriya ramaha mogham partha sa jivati. So he says, Evam pravartitam chakram, this whole creation cycle is centered on yajna. Understand, I have explained from Sloka 9 to 15, 8 shlokas, 7 shlokas we have discussed. Because in Sloka 9 we started, Yajnartam karma lokan anyatra karma bandhana tadartam karma kaunteya mukta sangha samachara. Then we said, Saha yajna praja srishtva provacha prajapatihi anena prasavishidyam ishtakama dukka. From that on, then Devan Bhavayatan, and all those we saw. So, evam, like this, pravartitam chakram, this is a grand plan which the divinity has created. It's a nice plan divinity has created. Nanuvartayati. Iha. That person who says, I will not follow this. I will not follow this nice, grand, self-regulating, self-sustaining cycle of yajna. Yaha na anuvartayati iha, in this world, a person who says, I will not follow it, who is he? Aghayuhu. He is an aghayuhu. He is full of aga. Aga is, one who is with of sin. Anaga is sinless. Aga is sin. So he commits only sin because what is the sin? He is primarily contributing to the world of unsustainability, which is the greatest selfish behavior. We have to leave this world for the future generation. It's our moral responsibility. It is our moral responsibility that we hand over this world safely to the next generation. If I don't do it, it is a sin of the highest order. So agayuhu, these people are all committing sin. Indriya aramaha, he is just reveling in his bhoga. He is so selfish, he just enjoy madi variety. I will enjoy, let anything happen, I will enjoy. That kind of people, mogam, they are deluded, they have no clarity of thought. They are deluded. They have no clarity of thought. Hey Partha, that's how they lead a life. So you make a choice. If you fail to understand the principle of yajna, which will make a karma yogi out of you, you will be, in other words, I will tell you in simple words, people will not have a peaceful last sleep. We are born not for positions. We are not born to become a CEO or to become a most influential person in society. No. We are all born for only one goal. What is that goal? The last sleep is peaceful. Most of us may not get a last sleep which is peaceful if we do this. So, mogam parthasa jivati. That's what he says. I think the goal of life is last sleep which is peaceful. It's worth. The life is an art of dying. Don't get scared about dying. The life is an art of dying. Art of living is important, but art of dying is very, very important. Please understand. That last sleep is what for we are fighting our life. And if that last sleep has to be good, don't do this. That's what Krishna is saying. Yastvatmaratireva syat atmatriptascha manavaha Atmanyevacha santushtaha tasya karyam na vidyate. So in the previous shloka he said what happens to a person if he violates this principle. In this shloka he says what will happen to the person who followed this principle. If a person said I am so sold on the idea of yajna, in my small ways let me start. 20 years later I would have covered a ground. What will happen to him? A person who decided that I think this is so appealing to me, so let me try. So he says, yaha tu, it is a sandhi. I will have to break all the padas now. Yaha tu. Yaha plus the visarga will become sakara, is will come. Tu plus a will become twa. It is called iko yanachi. That is a yan sandhi actually. So yaha tu atma ratihi eva. That ratihi, that visarga will become ra, reva. That's why it becomes reva. Atma ratihi eva. He will revel in himself. Indeed, he will enjoy in himself. Every one of us have a locus center of ourselves. We don't know what, sometimes we don't even search it. Actually. So, yaha tu atma ratihi eva syat. Atma triptaha. Triptascha. He is satisfied. He will be in the thick of activity, but he will be satisfied. Out of satisfaction, he is not going to sit and don't do any work. The following shlokas are going to follow there. Krishna gives his own example. Beautifully explains. So because I am satisfied, I will not sit. I am satisfied, what does it mean? The results will not bother me. That is the meaning of satisfaction. Satisfaction means what? Results is not bothering me anymore. Not that I will stop working. That is not called satisfaction. Atma triptascha manavaha Atmanyeva saha santushtaha. He revels in himself. He enjoys his own existence. He is nothing but a bundle of joy within. Within you have that fullness. Apuryamanam achala pratishtam. That should happen. You must be that embodiment of fullness in you. He says that will happen. Try it. That will happen. He says, Atmanyeva santushtaha tasya karyam na vidyate. Karyam na vidyate means it will not do any work. The meaning is not like that. That's the English meaning. It's not that. What it means is, the results of the work will not bother. So he will do what that position demands. He will respond to the situation. What is the most appropriate response to the situation? I will start doing. Not looking at what is in it for me. Because the Yajna Bhava will tell me, chalta hai, let things happen. It's a divine Leela in which I am also part. I am a small speck of a dust in this grand event. I will play my play and go. I will do what needs to be done and I will go. That frame of mind will come. Which means I will be engaged more actively in work than before. Because all this tension, will I succeed, will I not succeed, will I get the result, are all now put behind. That is the Yajna Bhava. That is the na mama. Results are also na mama only. So that thinking, when it comes, people will actually, I have seen it. I have seen people, I think this is what will happen. People are, no sir, all that you are saying are all fine. When results are not there, things are not going to work. I think this is very hard to discuss and convince. I will not convince anybody. I should not convince anybody. You should convince yourself by trying it out. The problem is, in most of the ancient Indian wisdom, they keep on arguing without trying, without an iota of experience. Suppose if I ask you, if I just tell a name, I'll simply say, is Professor Murthy here? Nobody can answer. Because you don't know who is Murthy. For all know, Murthy may be here. When you don't know Murthy, you can neither answer Murthy is here, nor you can answer Murthy is not here. These are all like that. So don't take a position, because you don't know what it is. First you know what it is, then make a comment. Whereas our Indian fashion today is join with the Westerners and say all these are nonsense, these are all useless, as though they have tried it. They have an iota of experience. Nobody has experience. You need lifetime of experience before even making a comment. So I cannot convince, I will not try to convince. I don't believe in convincing also. Because that convincing are all shallow. We have to take Yajna Bhava seriously and try, and one small success is enough. The favorite example I give is the greatest dam in the world, built with the greatest engineering prowess, requires only a hairline crack. One day it will burst. It requires only a thin hairline crack which you cannot even see with the lens. That is enough, but slowly the crack will develop. One day the dam will burst. So that is the experience we need. We have to try. One spark of experience is a spark of divinity in us. So I will not convince anybody on these arguments. We will have to reflect, think, try and all that. One more sloka we will see. I think we have some time. It goes on. What will happen to that person who really got sold on this idea? Krishna goes on to explain. This is Palashruti kind of a thing for the Yajna. Because that is the centerpiece of Karma Yoga now. Naiva tasya kritenartaha na kriteneha kaschana na chasya sarva bhuteshu kaschidartha vyapashrayah. Tasya, for that person who got sold on the spirit of Yajna and started behaving, organizing his life with the spirit of Yajna, tasya naiva, not there, not at all there, na eva. Indeed, it is not there. What is not there? Kritenartaha. These are the things that I have to achieve. That list is all gone. He will keep doing. Moment you bring the list, you are a bundle of tension now. You get into all kinds of trouble. So, kritenartaha nasti. For him, there is nothing called kritenartaha. Na akritenaiha. So the do's and don'ts, all these are all intermediaries. Do's and don'ts, I want it, I like it, I don't like it, this bothers me, this does not bother me, I am happy, I am sad, I am delighted, I am not so much delighted. These are all intermediary stations you have to pass through. Destination is not at all there. We seem to be wasting an entire lifetime only on that. This person took my pen, never said thank you when he gave back. We spend lifetime on that. I am very upset. He is not telling me, even he doesn't even have the smallest courtesy, and I lose sleep. And you have now decided I should lose sleep. I didn't decide. You have a remote control with you, you start pressing now. Moment you press, I will hang my head now. This is how youngsters particularly are overboard on it. You put a photo on Facebook and then if likes are not there, I will be upset. As though the whole world is only about how many likes I gather. At least how many Ramajaya you write also I can understand. How many likes I have. So if people don't like it, then gone. My life is gone. It looks like life is so simple. He has none of those. Kritena artha nasti. Akritena api nasti. He is not bothered about all these. He will focus on this situation demands this response. I must do it. Full stop. There is no comma. Results come. Folded hands I will take it. I have the grace. God has given me, Lord has given me the grace to take with folded hands because it is prasada. The greatest strength in life is prasada buddhi. Prasada buddhi and sharanagata tattva. You can go places. You will succeed materially. You will succeed every walk of your life if you embrace these two principles. Sharanagata Tattva. What does it mean? Sharanagata is not, surrender is not easy. People think you are a coward to surrender. Please try surrendering for some time. Your ego will not allow you to surrender anything. You can't even surrender your pen. You will not surrender your pen cap. Pen you will surrender, keep the pen cap with you. What surrender are we talking? You cannot surrender. Try surrendering. You need courage to surrender. What surrender means? Surrender means I will do. Let whatever happens I will do. Whatever results come I will take. I surrender unto Him. That's not easy. The two pillars of successful living is Sharanagata Bhava and Prasada Buddhi. If we have acquired it, Bhagavad Sankalpa is there. We will go places. What needs to be done, we will do. So he has no such problems. Because that's what Yajna has taught him. Nacha asya sarva bhuteshu. For him also there is nothing, something else is also not there. What is not there? Kaschid artha vyapashraya, ashraya, attachment to artha, attachment to the materialistic things in life. He doesn't have attachment. That doesn't mean he will not eat food or nothing like that. What it means is, it is there, not there, it is in full measure, half measure, it will not affect me. I will keep going. Whatever is there, I will take and go. That is called, anashraya. Ashraya is, I am critically dependent. I am critically dependent on your likes. I am critically dependent on your thank you. That is called ashraya. Tasya anashraya. Ashraya na is there. Na cha asya kaschid arthavyapashraya. None of the material entitlements can influence him in any ways. He is a free bird. He will work. That is what he will do. So that is what Krishna says that will happen if you go on the spirit of Yajna. Then he finally concludes. One more sloka I will do, because logically I think we are sort of coming to an end. So we will take one more sloka. It is only 7:57. Allow me to take 1 or 2 minutes more. Tasmat asaktas satatam karyam karma samachara asakto hyacharan karma param apnoti purushaha. Therefore, he completes the argument. Tasmat, therefore, satatam, always, karma samachara, samyak achara, karma. How? Asaktaha. Tasmat plus a, tasma da. There is a da there. Tasmat plus a, it becomes id in sandhi. Id plus a becomes da. Tasmat dasaktaha. That's how it is. Tasmat asaktaha karyam kuru. Karma samachara. Asaktaha, be a detached attachment. Because karya kuru is attachment. Asaktaha is emotional detachment. This is what I meant by detached attachment, which I explained, yesterday or day before. Tasmat asaktaha satatam karyam karma samachara. Therefore, O Arjuna, you are so bound with something. That's what bothering you. Be like a water on a lotus leaf. Step a little bit. One the chur hidde banni. Step one little bit, you will find a huge difference. We must have personal experience. Please try it in small things first before trying it in big things in life. You will find a huge difference. So he says, Tasmad asaktaha satatam karyam karma samachara. Asaktaha he acharan. If some acharan is a present continuous. The word acharan is present continuous. So doing karma, acharan karma, a person who is doing work with the sense of detachment, asaktaha he is stressing there. Asaktaha he acharan karma, purushaha, that fellow who performs action like this, param apnoti, he attains ultimate. Ultimate can be in materialism. Ultimate can be in your spiritual growth. Ultimate can be that your Vyaktitva blossoms. Chitta Shuddhi will happen. So that is how he concludes. Of course, there is one more sloka which will tag it along with the next set of slokas. So the sloka 9 to 20, I have gone up to 19. 20 is also 9 to 20 are very, very important. The spirit of Karma Yoga through a overarching grand framework called Yajna. Through that, Krishna has beautifully explained, only when we practice Yajna, we will become Tadartam Karma Kaunteya Mukta Sangha Samachara. Mukta Sangha, if you have practiced, you have crossed the greatest hurdle in life. life will be on a highway of fulfillment. Happiness and all, I don't know. Fulfillment. Heart will be full. That's what Krishna has, in all his divine grace, told us through Karma Yoga. And he furthers the argument even more, which we will see tomorrow. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om. Shri Krishnarpanamastu. Shri Guru Charanaravindarpanamastu. Shri Gurubhyo. Namaha. Harihi Om.